Thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Matsanga, all the way from Nairobi, Kenya.
Good evening, all of the viewers, wherever you are across the globe.
Thank you, Dr. Matsanga. Now, today marks the second meeting in 11 days where ECOWAS leaders are calling for the release of detained former leader Alpha Condé since it was ousted 11 days ago. What do you think of this call by ECOWAS leaders? It seems to be falling on deaf ears by the military to the military authorities in Guinea.
First of all, it has always been the same announcements made. Whenever a coup takes place in Africa, either in ECOWAS, East Africa, or in Sudan, or whatever, it is the same call by these regional bodies. But the leaders of the coup are not interested. Some of them are not going to hear anything of what ECOWAS will want to do. What they want to say, they will take on national laws, the national laws of Guinea that govern corruption. You can see the type of statement that the leaders have put forward, the junta leaders. They are saying he mishandled quite a lot of things. He violated the constitution. He went and got a third term. Corruption cases are now going to come up after this meeting. Now, the best thing that ECOWAS should do, and all African Union should change the constitution. We should know where the trigger mechanism is.
Yeah, but Dr. Matsanga, yes. Sorry to interrupt you there. You said we should know in retrospect now the trigger mechanism for when a government is going out of hand. For example, you did mention the third term bid by President Alpha Condé. These are some of the things that led to his ousting. But if the ECOWAS or the African Union do that, wouldn't that be interfering in a country's internal affairs? If they do that to stop the trigger mechanism that you just talked about now, wouldn't that be meddling in internal affairs?
Time has come now for African Union to change that clause. Time has come for ECOWAS to change that clause. And believe me, honor the presidents and the delegations in Accra, we are thinking of going to change that clause. That we should know. We should now practice democracy, multi-party democracy. If there is change of term limits are the causes of the coups. You see everybody in Africa at the moment, in West Africa, Ouattara wanted to change, he changed his age. People are even changing age. People are even faking age to be younger or to be able to go to power. We have seen that in Uganda. Changes, term limits.
And presidential term limits too.
Yes, so this leads to coups. These are coups. So we must first of all find the root cause. Why are coups taking place? You saw that in Chad. People did not like the way the Chadan president wanted another term. Unfortunately, he was killed before he could. We have seen that in Mali. We have seen everywhere. We have seen it in Khartoum. Bashir was removed partly because he had now again wanted another maybe 60th term. You know, we African Union must change the regulations. We can't be there rubber stampers.
Now let's talk about the decisions and the things that were talked about in the meeting today in the Ghanaian capital, Accra. ECOWAS has threatened to take a very decisive decision on Guinea if they don't return to civilian rule in a short while. We've seen precedents in Mali, where most of these military regimes give an 18-month transitional period or 2 years. Why is the case in Guinea different? Why do they want them to return to immediate civilian rule in a short while? And do you think there's room for negotiations? Otherwise, will ECOWAS, I know this is a preemptive question, but will ECOWAS go the way of Yahya Jammeh, you know, threatening to kick him out of office if he doesn't leave?
I think the best way for ECOWAS is to kick them out. Because first of all, the coup leaders they are coup leaders who look presentable. They are coup leaders who look serious. The ones in Guinea look childish. The statements, the way things they are being done, I think you look like it's just a comedy. The ones in Khartoum, you know, when they staged the coup in Khartoum, you could see senior men coming out, generals coming saying, we want to do this and that and that, and bring a government of national unity. These ones are just playing with words. They are changing the words. They are telling a different story. I think ECOWAS, one of the things why I like ECOWAS, and I like East African Community, ECOWAS and the SADC, they go in. If the worst come to the worst, they will go in.
But do they have the capacity, the military means? Do they have a standing force? Wouldn't that be leading to more bloodshed if they do that? Because you would expect some level of resistance from the coup leaders in Guinea.
Definitely, the level of resistance will be there, but they cannot hold for long. The level of resistance during Yahya Jammeh's regime, when Senegal pushed its troops into Gambia, you saw the resistance fell very quickly. People change, even some of the generals. These are Lieutenant Colonel, they have taken over power. They are senior generals in the army in Guinea, Conakry. And some of them are not very comfortable. And unless we take decisive measures, Africa will continue to be the same problem. But also, let's tell the leaders who are in power in Africa that time comes when it has come. Pack and go. Do the Shakespearean way. There is a time for everything. There is a time, even do the Bible way. There is a time for prayer. There is a time for getting tired. There is also a time for continuation and time for no continuation. So why don't you just do the Shakespearean way? You came, you have served your stage, you have played, go back. Leave a stage for others. But in Africa, we are having a problem here. It is not only in Guinea. I'm telling you, the whole of sub-Saharan Africa has those problems.
Now, talking about altering constitutions, sit-tight leaders, recently there are reports that the president of Uganda, His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, is planning to send some of his troops all the way from East Africa to Guinea. What does this portend for the continent? And do you think it's an empty bluff, or is it a case of, you know, an old boys association protecting another member of the old boys association? Because they're not really talking about the trigger mechanisms, the root causes of the coups, like you mentioned earlier.
First of all, for us, I am also Ugandan, and there is one thing that you should give credit to President Museveni. If you left Museveni to finish Somalia, all those terrorists would be in the Indian Ocean, that they would be gone. There would be no terrorists in Somalia if you left him to do so. He has the capability, he has the army, he has the men. Uganda looks like it has about 2 to 3 million armed people and arms, and all of them well trained. They are trained in all combat fields. So when you hear those reports, don't underestimate them. Or Uganda is guarding already Equatorial Guinea. We have a force. You know that Ngwema is the president there is being guarded by our forces. The oil fields are being guarded by Ugandan forces. We are not very far from there. For one thing that I give a credit to President Museveni is that when a military situation of that nature, I wish he became very, 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 very serious and allowed and on the ground, had his army. He is very quick at doing those things. You know very well he has gone into, he went into Somalia alone, and he managed
to deal with Al-Shabaab. Yeah.
Yes, he can go, and then let those boys in Guinea not to think that it's a threat. Museveni does not make threats, because you know they were very good friends with Alpha Conde, and it is very, very bad for you. More so if you see your friend whom you were with.
But it's more of an ECOWAS. It's more of an ECOWAS problem now. So we'll wait and see what happens, because President Museveni has his East African community issues to deal with. Now, just before we begin to wrap things up, like you mentioned earlier, Dr. Matsanga, we're gradually seeing the incursion of the military in some African countries. You mentioned Sudan, you also mentioned Mali, and we've seen the recent coup in Guinea now. Is the continent witnessing a return of coups like we saw in the 70s and 80s?
Yes, the coups are, you know what is happening? For me, I tell the truth. There are certain countries in Europe that are paying for these mercenaries to take over government. And I'm telling you, the coup in Guinea, someone paid someone to take over and dismantle the Guinea system. Yes, there was this term, 30-term extension and so on. But there are certain countries in Europe that are not willing to let it go, especially French-speaking countries. We have problems, most of them in the French-speaking countries. I don't know why we cannot shout louder about the France. You see how Kagame went to Cape Delgado. Everything is quiet. Within about a week, there is no more killings there. He wiped out those boys. The guys for us from this region, we are not worried. In fact, you have dismissed it is ECOWAS. It could not be ECOWAS. Don't be shocked to see tomorrow paratroopers landing in Conakry.
Thank you very much, Dr. Matsanga. Nigeria's former president, Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, is currently leading negotiations between the ruling junta in Guinea and ECOWAS leaders. So we'll see how that goes. And I look forward to talking to you. We do appreciate your insights, Dr. David Matsanga. Thanks for your time on
Thank you very much,
Continental Prime this evening.
Thank you. God bless.
Thank you.